Good afternoon to everybody. Before I start my speech today, I would like to ask all of you, who among you here is hiring Filipinos? Can I see a hand? Please. Oh my goodness. Please cheer up. This is for you. I'm really privileged to have been given the opportunity to speak before you today on the crew manager's perspective, seafarers on fatigues at sea. Sorry. Okay. Many studies have been conducted over the last 15 years, showing that human error is one of the major causes of accidents. In the same studies, it was noted that fatigue and stress has contributed to unsafe behavior on board. Behaviors contributing to unsafe working environment on board include the inability of the seafarer to concentrate on the task at hand, diminish the decision-making ability, slow response, loss of body control, and the mood and attitude change, among others. Despite these findings, I have yet to meet a seafarer who will admit to me that he is suffering from fatigue because of his work on the ship. Thus, I have very little hard data that will tend to clearly prove that fatigue among seafarers exists, that their work performance is affected by fatigue. The absence of data does not mean that fatigue among our seafarers does not exist. There are indicators of fatigue, or at least the inadequacy of rest while working on board. During a recruitment process or contract renewal, seafarers have been heard to comment about the difficult working conditions on board. When asked to explain, they say that they continue to work even after the mandated working hours, even on their off day, because it's better than doing nothing on their room, on their cabin. While this works against their need to gain adequate rest, this work attitude is reflective of the seafarers' can-do attitude. It also reflected of undisclosed fear of losing their job if they do not show their willingness to work beyond the expected number of working hours or guaranteed overtime work they are expected to supposed to perform. We have noted that many of our seafarers are content with working as operational level officers. When asked what stops them from seeking higher position, the constant reply is the workload expected of the management level officers deters them from seeking their higher positions. Another indicator that would be a symptom of work fatigue is the expressed desire of retiring or leaving shipboard work between the ages 40 to 50, with 60% of the ship officers and 80% of the cadet officers articulating this intention. In the list of work activities for life after sea, as much as 60% of those on our ship's officers pool would consider starting their work business in their field totally unrelated to the maritime industry. Only 30% would consider maritime-related work either in crew management, ship superintendency, or maritime training. Another difficulty we have encountered is the half-hearted training given to cadet officer by shipboard officers. We consider this as an indicator of the workload which management level officer would have against the available time he has devoted to train the aspiring cadet officer, which will fed into the pipeline of future officers. With daily communication received, supervising ship's business, attending to regulatory requirements, port schedule control, meeting the demands of ship owners, addressing the needs of cargo owners, and meeting the operational requirements of deck and engine room, it is not surprising that the training cadet officer will take the back burner. We have come up with the trainer's manual and trainer's workbook to facilitate the training cadet officers. But with such program will only be successful if ship officers himself will have time to do the daily training exercises and supervise the work of the cadet officer. The wealth of information with seasoned ship captains, ship office engineers hold is the reason enough for every ship owner to embark on a career mentoring program on board. We have encouraged our principals, who most of you are here, to consider this to allow for the transfer of knowledge and experience from senior officers to the junior officers. We have asked ship owners to seriously implement performance appraisal and evaluation system that allows them to measure the capability of their crew and guide us as crew managers in the areas where further training may be required of seafaring during this time on shore. We have also noted that more and more ships we man are requiring fewer crew members. There are reasons for this: technological change and also some ship owners for cost consideration. While it is true that these ships have become more automated, the need to reach the level of competency required by automation and monitoring needed for equipment could add stress to the seafarer who must constantly familiarize himself with the changing technology. Fewer crew members could translate to more working ships for them. It could also lead to a monotony and boredom to the seafarer who is used to physically work on board, which keeps him awake and alert. The requirements of the CCW also translate to a more work for crew. During vacation time, it would also translate to less rest and more training. Better work-life balance must be struck so that seafarer will not feel that he has been cheated out of his vacation time. We note that the shipping industry has seen many changes in the last years. The numerous accidents which the shipping industry has witnessed have resulted in the emergence of new standards, qualification training, certifications, new requirements arising from the changes of the onboard and advanced technology in the last half-century to address environmental concerns, handle emission controls, tackle changes in the ship safety and security, and met the obligations imposed by the international conventions and national regulations will have put added pressure on the seafarer as translated into an additional workload on board and more training on shore. Our government, Philippines, has not banned the deployment of seafarers despite the piracy issue. Piracy threats, instead, it has issued a reminder to crew managers and ship owners to ensure conduct and facilitation of the shore-based training on the best practices to improve knowledge of the skills of the seafarers to be deployed. Seafarers must know how to carry out risk assessment, understand piracy threats and current patterns, physically prepare for the vessel for pirate attack, know what to do during transit through the high-risk zone, and what action to take when taking encountering pirates. Crew managers have also been asked to remind their ship owners to ensure that their ship, the vessels, travel only along the maritime patrol area or safety corridor along the Gulf of Aden, which has been identified by the United Nations to maximize the assistance extended by the Multinational Coalition Naval Task Force patrolling the area. Prior to deployment, our company gives every seafarer choice and whether he wants to join the ship or not, knowing that the ship is likely to go through the Gulf of Aden, and that they have choice and know that they will not be penalized for refusing, that they will be given training to adequately address the threat. The stress of knowing that a pirate attack could be imminent, the vigilance required during the transit of the physical work needed to ensure that measures are in place to repel on the attack add to the work fatigue of the seafarer. Additional men on board would help pressure on the seafarer. The criminalization of seafarer also adds not only to the shipboard fatigue, but also shipboard stress, and of course to shipowner stress as well. Imagine a seafarer who is going out about his duties, exerting his best effort of his job in keeping the ship safe and secure, ensuring that the ship does not cause any pollution to the marine environment. Then the ship's machinery fails. The ship breaks into two and major oil spill occurs. Or imagine a seafarer who finds out that the oil and water separator has stopped working and they are days from the nearest port. He is given instruction by his superior to discharge the oil and water into the sea, and his superior discharged the oil and water into the sea. What should we do? Do we put these seafarers in jail because they have polluted the marine environment? Do we reward the whistleblower? In many instances, the pollution incident happens because the condition of the ship or the absence of the non-operation of critical pollution control equipment. The inability of the seafarer to keep the critical pollution control machinery working at all times can be a source of shipboard fatigue. Machinery failure may not have been caused by the seafarer, yet it is his responsibility to keep the machinery working. Seafarers are seen as the most convenient target by every government authorities whose coastlines, water fisheries, and tourist amenities have been polluted. We need to take a position and insist that ship owners should have a critical pollution and control equipment working at all times. Ships should be properly maintained. Places to refuge should be identified, and shipyards for repair must be accessible to allow for a minimum disruption to the vessel operations when necessary. This will help ease up shipboard fatigue. Further, seafarers must be trained to address these incidents and immediately seek help with port ship control authorities when the ship enters, so that the problem with the equipment can be addressed and immediately and unnecessary fines, penalties, and detentions can be averted. The issue of global warming and the problem of piracy and the critical sea passages has pushed the global shipping industry to put into strategies to keep the ship safe, secure, and marine environment fully protected. Serious concerns about work fatigue and increasing human error because of shipboard working conditions has been raised. The International Labour Organization has already moved forward to address the conditions of work and has increased hours of rest of seafarers through the Maritime Labour Convention, and the Philippines is working for its immediate ratification. The International Maritime Organization has introduced changes in the requirements for training and certification of seafarers. The Manila Amendments is a fitting tribute to the place where the great majority of seafarers manning the world have come from. The Manila Amendments impose new training requirements. The amendments will enter into force next year. The government are expected to use this waiting period to start bringing their seafarers up to speed. They are expected to issue to their seafarer a certificate of competency that will attest that these seafarer can serve the capacity stated in the certificate and perform the functions involved at the level of responsibility. The Philippines is now working to put systems into place for proper implementation of the amendments. It is expected, and the recurrency of training mandated by the Convention will put additional stress on the seafarer because it will eat up his vacation time and give his less time with his family. We note that the Convention has introduced new measures to address the shipwreck fatigue. It has increased the hours of rest which the seafarers should employ. We have noted that short contracts without any certainty of renewal do not inspire loyalty among crew. It adds to work stress because the need for learning for new crew to competently operate the ship. Time and again, as crew managers have stressed the need to build a pipeline to ensure the continuous supply of qualified maritime personnel. This could ease the pressure on the senior officer, knowing that there are competent crew members and aspiring young officers who can properly perform their work and assist in the daily requirements of the ship. In the Philippines, we have seen that it is not difficult to convince youngsters to consider a life at sea, where we see their eagerness, and many of them will jump at the chance of accepting educational assistance to complete their marine officer course and pursue maritime career. To work more closely with their crew members so that shipboard needs can be addressed and training can be focused on addressing the gaps in competencies seen in shipboard performance of crew. While crew assessment could translate to a more work for senior officers, more competent crew would translate to less work for them in the long run. Okay. Our company believes that it's not enough that we should invest on human capital in order to comply with the regulation. We have made commitment to pursue program of competency beyond compliance. For this, we have tied up with DNB for the establishment of the competency management system for the crew in our pool. The system allows for the identification of the competence standards per position per type of vessel, and the provision of training solutions for seafarers to meet these standards once training needs and gaps are identified. This will give them the facility to sustain their level of performance while recognizing the challenges posed by constant changes in the technology. The requirements of our industry are changing, and we need to work together to meet the challenges. Perhaps it is time to work together more closely at our human capital and see where we would like to take. We need to make investments to make training and recruitment levels so that we can build our future pool of suitably qualified officers. We need to be able to build the advantages of the shipping industry so that it becomes a career of choice for the present and the future generations. We need to take efforts to strengthen the weak links of the industry and address the issue of piracy and criminalization. We need to see our seafarers not just another item of cost in the balance sheet, but as people with dreams to be fulfilled. We need the earnest desire to advance the professionally and with the sincere aspiration to learn and improve themselves so that they can offer the best to the industry they serve. Thank you so much and good day.